Hi, I'm Kurt Robinson, President of Robinson Helicopter Company, and today I'm going to take you through the plant and give you a little insight on how we manufacture helicopters. This is literally where I spend a lot of my time throughout the factory. It's not the glamorous type of flying in the air. It's literally working with the supervisors and the employees here to make sure that we produce a top quality product. This is the raw materials section, and you can see there's a variety of different materials. We use almost every kind of part you can think of, or types of metals and materials that go in here. But what is fun about our company and what you have been enjoying today is the fact that raw material comes in one end and a helicopter flies out the other. And that's pretty cool. There's over 5,000 parts that goes into each aircraft on there. And of those, we actually manufacture or produce close to 80%. And that means even some parts like a bolt or something that we may bring in from outside, we may be trimming a top or drilling a hole in it or something. But with that many parts, that means we have a lot of work orders out on the floor. So the trick is to get them from machine to machine and turn them over as quickly as we can on there. The easiest way to decide, or how you look at it, is the parts that are all unique to our helicopters, meaning the drive line, say the gearboxes, the blades, the cabins, all of those parts where they're only used on our product. Those are the ones that we want to try and bring in-house, and those are the ones we want to try and build. This whole area over here that you really don't go in, this is all tooling. This is all tooling and design. For all of these assemblies and all these fabrications, before you can make the part, you got to make the tooling to make the part. And so there's quite a bit of work that's done in it. We have some very sophisticated machinery here, but these tend to build very, lots of 1, 2, and 3, rather than so that you can then turn them into production, and now I can start making lots of 100, right? This is the quality assurance department, one of them. We have several here. We do a 100% inspection on all of our parts. You can't do statistical analysis. We can't accept the fact that 1 out of 1,000 would be bad, particularly if you produce 13,000 aircraft. So we actually do all the critical dimensions and stuff are checked on there. We have a lot of ways that have enabled us to speed up the process. So these are all the individual components and assemblies that are built up. We tend to do these in quantities of 20, 30, 50, 100 type of thing. All these components and assemblies, these can be used, either they'll go down the assembly line as part of there, or a lot of the parts and components are used in customer service, so they'll be supplied to the field. Well, we were talking earlier about some of the supply chain issues you have, and one of the ones that we came across that was holding us up, and obviously there's a need for them in the field too, is just the mounts that go on the gearboxes. And the company itself that make them, they were having a hard time getting the material they needed just so that they could fabricate them. There. There's the same main rotor drive shaft, but in an earlier stage where they're just doing some of the gun drilling on it. And a part like that, literally, it takes from beginning to end, it takes 6 to 8 months to go through the factory, get everything done. There's obviously some outside processes, different heat treating, things that occur on there to complete the part. So some of the advancements that have come along is these are coordinated measuring machines, and as you can see here, it's automated, and they can actually inspect these hubs. And this particular main rotor hub will probably have about 20 different dimensions that need to be checked. And as you can see, they set up so that they can be checking one, mount another one, and it's all automated so that it can either hold up where it's at, it can mark all the dimensions, or it can do the entire lot and give you a report at the end. But these things have reduced some of our inspection time literally from days down to hours. The tail cone, as you can see, it's a conical design so that it builds up. It's structurally incredibly strong. Well, this is the R300 engine that goes into the R66. Turbine burns about 22 gallons an hour. It's funny, the weight on this engine is lighter than the weight of an R44 piston engine. So it's actually one thing that people don't realize is the empty weight of an R66 is lighter than an R44, mainly due to the difference in the weight of the engines on here. This has been a very efficient, very impressive engine. We really haven't had any problems with it. And actually now we've got over 1.5 million flight hours on the R66 and on the R300. So these are an overhauled engine that we're actually have assembled, and now we're running it for the first time on the dynamometer. And you can see here they can literally start and run the engine and take it through a whole break-in routine. These are all blades that have been matched, and now these are actually either set up for in-house ship or they're part of customer service orders. This is actually where they install the spindle assemblies inside the blades. So you can see there they've built them up, and then they will press them into the blade. And then you're basically selecting the blades with the weight and the balance and the symmetry of the blade to make sure that you get the better match you can have, then obviously the less vibration and the better that it will fly. This is the interior departments here, where you can see we're doing all the carpets, the seats, and everything. This is something that for many, many years was done outside, and we just became very dissatisfied with the quality. It was varying too much, and we felt that we needed to bring it in-house so that we could ensure that everything was done the way that our customers and operators expect it to be. This is electrical. Well, let's back up to right here. You can see. So these are the wire harness boards that we do. They're all set up for the different electrical assemblies, and every board, it gives you the exact cable that's needed, the end connections on there. You can actually build an entire wire harness, and more importantly, you can inspect it and you can check it. We have sensors we can go through and make certain that everything is operating correctly before we pull it out and either put it into stock, or if necessary, you have it for customer service. And on this side, what you're going to be seeing is these are actually all the consoles, and actually along the outside there you can see the consoles that have been actually assigned to a particular serial number aircraft, and then these technicians will actually complete the console to that particular ship. This one is obviously going on a particular ship here. This is how they wanted it. So we will build all these up, and then these will be taken to the assembly line to be installed in the aircraft at the appropriate moment. So as you can see here on the 44, this is 14,562. The 44, the Raven 2 started with serial number 10,000. So on the Raven 2s, this is the 4,562 one that's been produced. As you can see, so many of these aircraft go out really well equipped. Just glancing at this one, I can see it has a 1060, a 750. On here it has an autopilot. It's fairly well equipped for all types of flying. So this is the original buildup of the cabins. In fact, this is kind of fun because you're actually looking at an R22 cabin here. You can see the tooling on the outside and the actual stands and everything. The jigs that are set up, these are to make certain that the aircraft everything is fit and to the right dimensions, and that it's all straight as it puts in here. So they'll build up this cabin, then it will go and have its primer put in on the inside before it starts down the assembly line. Okay, this is the beginning of the assembly line here. So the cabins start here and go down. We have all the different models of the R44 here on the right, and then the R66 is on the left, and then behind me is where we do the 22s. Each aircraft is accompanied by a work order, a yellow book, that you'll see as we go down the line, and that has all of the equipment that's in there, and then as the equipment is installed, we do the buy-offs and the inspections and everything as we go. So we'll just start moving down the line, and then you'll see the aircraft as each step of the way, you know, starting with landing gear, and then with the frames, and then you'll see the gearboxes, the engines, and it just progresses along. Now you can see as they're starting at the beginning of the wiring, and they've obviously put the upper frames on, lower frames, they put the gearbox on, And then we're getting ready pretty soon here to put the engines in. You can see the engines have all been delivered to be installed in the aircraft. This is the yellow book that I was talking about, it goes for each ship. And what's kind of fun here is you see the serial number 1167. So this literally is the 1,167 R66 that's being produced right now as it goes down the line. Obviously the next one will be 66, 65, 64 as it goes through. And then on the opposite side, of course, we have the different serial numbers for the 44s as they're going down. This is actually the helicopters right before they go to the paint department. And as you can see as we walk down the line, is they start from just a bare cabin towards completion. And all of these aircraft have obviously been sold, and they all have work orders on them. So they all have their special equipment and everything that they need. So each aircraft, in a sense, is custom built. Here at this stage here now, we're installing the doors, fitting them. They're putting the interior in. This is the last stages of the aircraft that'll be done before it goes to paint. Well, this is where it's installed. We have various options. On the 66, it's always an all leather interior. On the 44s and the 22s, there's an option of whether you want a leather interior or you want a fabric. We can install either. We have various choices of them as we go through. But they'll be putting the flooring, the carpeting, the ceilings and everything in. Then we button it up and then send it on off to painting. This is the painting department over here. This is where we tape up the aircraft, and now they go through the painting process. This one's had the primer put on, and it'll have the base coat on there. You put them in these paint booths are set up so that one half is the paint side, and then there's some doors in the center that open up, push it through the other side, and that's the heaters or the drying booths that we have on the far side. It's set up so that we can do it continuously and don't contaminate the paint. And then it's actually set up in just the opposite on the other side, so that the painting booth is on the far side and the drying booths are on this side on there. So literally the aircraft can go in a circle until they're completed. We take the tail cone and the blades, and they're put in one cart, and then the rest of the helicopter is then lifted at an angle. We'll put sides on it, and this is all set up so I can put in a 40-foot container. All right, well, I hope you've enjoyed your walk through the company, and that you have learned a little bit more on what we do and how important quality and the people that all are part of this operation do to manufacture helicopters and bring flying to the world. So thank you again for being on this tour with us.